So first part is the introduction. Okay, within this lecture only we are going to see the introduction, so that from the next lecture we are going to start with the actual points of this series. So introduction, first of all, we have to, or we should know what is ecology. Ecology, what is the meaning of that word ecology? Ecology, it is nothing but it is a branch of biology which deals with the study of relationship or interactions between organism and their surrounding environment. Means, what is ecology? Ecology means the organisms and how the organisms are going to interact, or what are the relations between the organism and environment. That study is called as ecology. So this term, the ecology term, firstly introduced by Sir Haeckel. Okay, scientist Haeckel introduced the term ecology. That's this definition. But firstly, this term is used by scientist writer. Okay, so introduced by Haeckel, Sir Haeckel, and firstly used by the scientist writer. So within that ecology, the two things are important: organism and the environment. And what are the relations, what are the interactions between that organism and the environment, we are going to see within that lecture. So when we are going to see the ecology, there are some components which are very much important. That is majorly 4 levels we are going to see. That is organism, population, community and bio. What is organism? Organism is a basic unit of ecological hierarchy. Now we know that cell is the basic unit of our life. That means what? Our entire body, that is organism, that means us, human being. It is made up of single cells. Okay, so the basic unit is the cell. Similarly, in case of the ecology or ecological hierarchy, the basic unit is the organism. So organism is the central part of that ecological hierarchy. So organism is the individual unit of ecological hierarchy. The next part is nothing but the called as population. When same kind of organisms in a particular area living with the environment, it is called as population. It may be population of any birds, population of any reptiles. Okay, when same kind of animals or organisms living together in particular area, it will be considered as a population of that species. Okay, now coming to the third term, that is called as community. Now community is what? When different population of different species, when come together in a particular area, it will form a community. So suppose there are several different species and they are having their own population, but all the populations living together in a particular area, geographical area, it is considered as a community. Okay, now after that community, it is coming to the biome. Biome, it is a regional area where there are the climatic conditions are different. So biomes will form a lot of communities. Biomes constitute lot of communities. There are several communities come together. So in that community also population is there, also organisms are there. So biome constitute the entire chain of the organisms. Okay. For example, we are having biomes like desert biome, we are having forest biome, we are having aquatic biome, okay, grassland biome. So biomes are the area where the communities are living together, but their climatic conditions are different. Accordingly, the different biomes are there. So now you can see on the display one picture is there, that is nothing but the graphical representation. You can see in this picture there are different biomes are there. You can see the grassland biome, you can see the forest biome. Okay, so there are different biomes. The graph is against the temperature and the rainfall. At one side there is a temperature, at another side there is a rainfall, or we can call it as precipitation. It is an annual temperature and annual precipitation. It changes with the time and duration. So you can understand with this picture that there are several biomes are there, and their population and their duration or their presence are different at different level of temperature and different level of rainfall. So what we are going to understand with this picture is that the population of any of the species, community or biome, or the duration or presence of any of the community, populations or biomes, it is dependent on the environment. So the environment plays a major role in the presence or the population density, or we can call it as community. Okay, so environment is very important within all that. So come to the next part, that is habitat niche. Next point after introduction, we are going to see the two concepts, that is habitat and niche. These two terms are different from each other. Okay, habitat is different and niche is different. Both are related with the organism, because organism is a central point, and habitat, the organism having habitat, it also having niche, its own habitat and its own niche. We can call it as niche, or we can call it as niche. Okay, so what is the habitat? Habitat is nothing but the space occupied by the organism. Suppose a tiger is in the forest. Okay, in the forest it occupies certain area. In certain range there cannot be introduction of any of the animal other than the tiger. So this place is called as the habitat of that tiger. Now what is the niche? Niche is nothing but the functional activity played by that organism. Now what is the functional activity of that organism? It is a part of food chain. Okay, it is a predator. It predates on another animals, and also its another function is the reproduction. They will continue their generations. So these are the two major functions. Though its niche is what? It is a part of food chain. So habitat is the area and the niche is the functional activity done by that organism. So these two concepts are related to the organisms, but these are two different terms introduced here. So what are the differences between the habitat and niche? Point first is habitat is the place or area where the living organism interact with the environment. Then here first point in the niche is that the niche is the activity or function performed by an organism. Okay, then second part is it consists the that is the organisms or the habitat. Habitat is consist of different niches. Okay, so many niches can accumulate in the habitat, but in case of niche it doesn't happen. It doesn't contain different habitats. Okay, so habitat contain niche, but niche cannot contain different habitats. That is the major difference between the habitat and the niche. The third point, habitat is a place. I have already told you that habitat is a place and niche is the activity. So it is the major difference. The concepts are different. It is the place, it is the function of that organism. And the fourth point is the habitat is not species specific and the niche is the species specific. What is meaning of that is habitat is the same for many of the organisms. Okay, habitats. So it is not species specific. The environment or the habitat or the place, it is not meant for only one organism. Okay, it can be there are some tigers are there, but there are some ants, there are some snails, there are some snakes. Okay, so habitat, it is not specific, species specific, but the niche is the species specific. That means what? The function of that organism, that is nothing but the niche, and it is very species specific. The function of the tiger is different, the function of the rabbit is different, the function of the snake is different, the function of the fishes are different in the environment. So that niches are species specific and habitat is not species specific. This is the major difference between the habitat and the niche. Okay, so now the first point is clear, habitat and niche. There is some concept like ethology and ecology. Ecology, we know that the study of relations and relations of the organism with the environment, okay, how they are adjusting. And ethology means the study of behavioral changes in the animals according to the environment. What are the changes occurred in the animals according to the environmental changes? It is called as ethology. Okay, now first point is completed. After this lecture, in the next video series, we are going to start with the abiotic factors, which is responsible for the interactions between the organism and the environment. This is the introductory part, habitat and niche. We are going to see the abiotic factors within the next video series. Thank you.